Hey guys, and welcome back to my Let's Play of Sonic the Hedgehog 2006. So, in the last episode, we collected the first half of silver medals. So, of course, this time we're going after the remaining ones. And we begin in White Acropolis, and, well, these ones can all be obtained pretty quickly. You know, White Acropolis is pretty much the shortest stage in Silver's story when you're not abusing his powers. And 5 of them are located within Blaze's section. And for those of you who saw some of the earlier videos may think that that particular part of the video was rather familiar. Well, you may recall that I collected that silver medal whilst playing through Silver's story the first time round, so I am reusing some old footage there. The rest of this is original footage, I can assure you. And I must apologise for the rather inconsistent upload schedule. I just got stuff to do. I got more important stuff to do than this. I got college stuff to do, so I can't. And these take a lot of editing for when you're. I'm a novice editor. I don't really know that much about editing, and there's a lot of stuff I'm editing out here, so it takes a long time to do. So that's why there hasn't really been much in the way of uploads lately, but hopefully that will change relatively soon. And yes, that snowball did hurt me. I don't know why, but yeah, the snowball actually still hurts Silver. And yeah, you can bypass all these enemies, and I swear I don't hit anything here. I jump. Did I hit that? I could have just moved them out of the way. But I could have sworn that I didn't hit that, so I don't know what happened there. But that's the stupid way of getting the silver medal. There are so many easier ways to obtain that one by simply grabbing the spike balls. But now it's time for Radical Train, another really short stage, so a lot of these silver medals are very close to each other. Like this video wasn't actually edited all that much for the first half. We received a lot of editing in the second half. But you know, if you look at the length, this video isn't actually very long. So it's mainly because these two levels, the silver medals are all really close to each other, because they're really short stages. Unfortunately, after this is also Silver's 3 longest stages. And this is what you're doing for a majority of the medals in Radical Train. You have to take these upper pathways onto the conveyor belts. There's a silver medal there, and then just a few feet away there is another silver medal. And that's pretty much the way it works in Radical Train. They're all really close to each other because the stage is so short. And, you know, that pretty much occurs in all of the short stages. You know, unless it's something like a max speed section. You don't really have to do all that much searching for the silver medals. They're relatively easy to find. Because like this one, hit another one that's located on the conveyor belt. That's the last one. And these are just about the only 2 golden egg gunners that aren't a pain. Because they are a pain. They are my least favorite enemies in the entire game. So that one was relatively easy to see. That silver medal is hidden behind the pillar. But you can spot it quite easily. By the way, I'm trying to see if I can grind on the rails out there like Sonic can, because I was playing through Silver's very hard mode in Crisis City, and I discovered that Silver can actually grind on a couple of the rails. Because, I don't know, maybe it's just because of the programming, because in the main stage and in hard mode you are playing that section as Blaze, but not in very hard mode, and Silver can actually grind, but he can't jump on the rails. And it's hard to tell because a lot of the time I try and jump off the rails to no success. Also, if it looks like I'm just leaving in a bunch of random footage, I'm just showcasing the fact that you have to defeat all of these enemies in this particular area, where the silver medal will now appear on, you can just see it through there, on the other side of that wooden door, which I have, with all of these really in Silver Story, I have the hardest time breaking these things down. Because a lot of the time I throw things at them, and they just bounce right off of it. No damage is done. And I love the way every piece of wood then spontaneously combusts. I have no idea why that happens, but they just decided that every single piece of wood needs to spontaneously combust upon being destroyed. But that is all the silver medals for Radical Train. I don't know why I left the results screen in. So there you go, I got a B rank. That was less impressive than it was in the previous Radical Train run. But what the hey. We got our silver medal, we got the most important gold medal there. And now it's time for the big ones. We begin with Aquatic Base. Thankfully we're not watching this thing in its entirety. And it shows just how many enemies are in this stage, because I died more than, well, actually it probably is around the midway point of the stage. And I still get the S rank. So you can get a lot of enemy score in this stage, and they still give you quite a hefty time bonus. Despite my death, and unfortunately this stage really wants you to make use of the silver balls that you can, well not these ones, the big ones that silver can ride on. It really wants you to make use of this, like this one right here, and there's 2 of these in silver's version of this stage. And you really gotta be careful around those lasers, and these ones. That's quite an easy one to get, you can simply fall down and guess it. And by the power of fading to black, we are now in the second part of the stage, and you know, a lot of the silver medals for these 3 stages in particular, they're pretty much just given to you. This one right here, this one right here, this was the worst. Because you pretty much have to try and maneuver the ball close enough so that you can jump off of it, hover your way above the laser to pick up the medal, and then hover your way back onto the sphere, making sure that it doesn't actually hit the lasers. And I don't know what was going on with Silver's gravity there. And that one's the most annoying one in the stage. You saw that I died, but I still got the S rank despite that. But that was the biggest pain. I don't think there's actually any way of dropping those lasers. There was a switch that I didn't hit, but that one deactivates the lasers on the other side of the pillar. It doesn't deactivate the ones that have the medal above it, and so I don't see what the point of it is. But unfortunately, Aquatic Base is out of the way, which means that we now have to go through the worst stage for Silver, and that's Kingdom Valley. And just like before, this one was a real pain to go through, and it's all largely because of those golden egg gunners I love to hate so much. And this is the one time where, oh no, it's later on. There was a point where I did try and use the teleport dash to actually get underneath one of those spike poles. Without any luck, really. I still got hit by it. That particular silver medal right there, that one's kind of annoying due to the fact that there are lots of times where I just clip right through that action gauge refill. And I don't know why, it's like you have to be a specific height for it. Also, it was thanks to that silver medal right there that I actually discovered that Silver is going backwards through the section that he goes through in Sonic's story. It's the same part of the level, but you're going through it in the other direction. So that's actually the silver medal I got when I was using the Sky Gem in what was supposed to be the beginning of Silver's section in Sonic's story. But I didn't pick, you know, and that was at the beginning. Instead, I got that one towards the end of the segment of the level, and that explosion was big enough to actually hurt me. And they give you 3 medals here. This one small little section. Now you saw me pick up that one after the springs, and use the pendulum to get to another one, and now I got to use this pendulum, and then use Silver's hovering ability, and again try and make use of simply tapping the buttons. I don't actually know if it is possible to get far enough otherwise. And then the last one is just hidden behind a tree, so yeah, that's relatively simple. I always get worried when the eagle carries me over there though, because there are some times where it carries Silver above the water, and other times it gets half submerged, and I get terrified because you can drown when the water is at about the height of your knees in certain sections of this game. So it's kind of terrifying. I always get worried that it's just going to give me a cheap death. Thankfully it hasn't happened yet. And these are some of the annoying silver medals in Crisis in Flame Core. Because you have to use Silver's psychic abilities to make those pillars rise. But if you take too long when jumping off of the first one onto the second one, that second one's going to be too high up for you to actually get onto. I think if you leave it long enough, they will come back down, but it's quite time consuming. And if it wasn't obvious at that point, this stage actually has a few silver medals that you can only obtain after defeating all of the enemies. There's a particularly annoying one that we're going to be getting to shortly, and that one takes a long time to get. because you have to defeat so many enemies just to obtain one silver medal, and a lot of them are actually hidden just above the little telekinesis indicators where Iblis worms. They're pretty much hiding within the Iblis worms. You can just about see the shine within the Iblis worm's body when you get close enough, like that. You saw that one there. This one's hiding one as well. Okay, this one's a Methodist worm, it's close enough. And this is, again, they're pretty much given to you. I don't know why I'm still defeating these enemies. The medal is right there, so past me, pick up the medal, please. You always have to go for these S ranks, don't you? Well, I like my S ranks, even if I don't like playing as silver. And this one right here, there are so many enemies in this room, and the issue was that, you just saw I threw that crate there, it just disintegrated the moment it hit the Iblis Taker, but the Iblis Taker got off completely fine. Because you have to keep on throwing projectiles at the enemies, but most of the time the projectiles don't do anything. Like that, I'm sure that Iblis Worm should have killed at least one of those Iblis Takers, but it didn't do a single thing. And a lot of the time, I'm just throwing things at the enemies, and I don't get anywhere. Also, this one little rock here is also pretty significant. At first I try and kill all of the Iblis Takers, but you need to make sure that you grab that ring box, as that actually calls in more Iblis Takers. And you also need to kill all of these. Thankfully there's 4 and they only stay in this one small area. And that will finally make the silver medal appear. It takes a long time to get that silver medal. And you just gotta hope that you can just defeat all of the enemies as fast as you can. Remember, if you throw a crate at them, and the crate should just bounce off of them unless it's made of wood. And it will then sink into the lava, but that will just count as it falling into a bottomless pit, and it should respawn. It takes a little bit of time, but not too much. And much like that stuff what I was talking about in Kingdom Valley with that item box, I was clearly going right through that silver medal there, and he just wouldn't pick it up. And even though I definitely collected it. This one's only a problem because you can't really see it that well. You let the thing fall down, I still don't know what this thing actually is. And it's not the debris, it's just the fact there's so much steam. I'm assuming it's steam. That sort of prevents you from seeing the medal. It's just there. There you go. It's very easy to actually miss that medal simply because you can't see it. So the amount of debris, I mean, you could just wait. All of those rocks will eventually sink into the ground, so you can spot it there, but that pretty much requires you to actually know that the medal is there in the first place. But I can finally say that that is all of silver medals. So next time that we meet up, we will be going after all of the medals for Shadow. And trust me, if you thought that you had to defeat a lot of enemies in order to make the medals appear for silver, there's a lot more that you have to do for Shadow. There is a lot more. A good chunk of them, actually. So, I will see you guys then for the silver medals for Shadow, or the first half of them, including one of my least favourite in the entire game.